Now, just to start this video, I just want to say that I'm not really a huge Warhammer fan. Like, I don't know much about the Warhammer lore and stories and everything like that. And the only other Warhammer game that I played was Warhammer Vermintide and Warhammer Vermintide 2, which I liked. I liked those two games, especially Warhammer Vermintide 2. I thought they were fun and cool. But I'm just going to give my opinion on this game right now. And it's not going to be like a normal video or anything. This game is just kind of, in my opinion, it's just kind of, just very unfinished. So I do want to preference that. I was actually excited for this game because it just looked cool and it's kind of like a type of game that I would play. And I was excited for this game, but then the first impressions of the game just smacked me right in the face, and I just lost like all hope for this game, to be honest, almost immediately. But we'll get into that. First impressions here, I launched the game, and the game takes like a couple minutes to launch, so it's not like it doesn't launch instantly. I mean, it's not too bad, a couple minutes, but it launches and then it opens up this launcher thing, and so I mess with the settings in the launcher. I click play, and this is where the first problem starts. I click play, and it literally takes like I'm not even sure 5 to 6 minutes to get to the main menu of the game. Or at least, you know, the first screen, not even in the main menu, but for the game to actually load up. Like, I'm just sitting at this screen that just says Darktide for just 5, 6, maybe even 10 minutes. I'm not even exactly sure how long it was, but it's around 5+ minutes of just sitting there and waiting for the game. I almost thought the game wasn't even going to load at all. But eventually it did, and that's every single time I load up the game. Every single time I load up this game, it just takes forever to load. For whatever reason, it takes forever to load into the game. It takes forever when you click play to get into the game. After loading the game, launching the game, and it loads in, you then click your character and then click play, and then it takes another, I don't even know how long, just minutes of just sitting and looking at this loading screen. And then once you're in the game and then you get into, like, you click to start a mission or whatever, you're then stuck in another loading screen. So, like, it took me, I started the game and it literally took like 15 minutes before I was in my first mission, before I was even playing something. That was the second time I launched the game. Obviously, the first time you have to go through you don't have to go through the prologue, but I did, and you can, but you can also skip it when you make a new character, and I skipped it when I made a different character. But still, even with skipping the prologue, launching the game, creating a new character, and then getting into a mission, it took around 15 minutes. I mean, that is just crazy. That's the first problem and issue for me with this game. So that's one of the big problems in my opinion, because just the loading times, they're just outrageous, to be honest. I mean, anyways, moving on from that. I want to talk about it more, but let's move on from that. One of the other things I have a problem with is just the interface. I mean, the interface itself isn't really that bad, but it just doesn't work sometimes. Like, I go to the shop to buy a new weapon, or, you know, like a new gun, new melee weapon or something. I open it to buy a new weapon, and I open it, and there's just nothing there. There's no UI whatsoever. It's just a blurry screen, and I just have to sit there, and I have to wait, like the loading screen. I just have to sit there and wait for the menu to load in. It just doesn't appear automatically. I just have to sit there and wait for it, and I can't even back out of it because I have to wait for it to load in before I can back out of it. So that's also a problem. I also want to point out that for some reason the weapon menu does that, but the menu where you buy skins for like $25 or more, that works just fine. It opens and it doesn't, it doesn't just break. So I go to buy a weapon with my coins, and I have to wait for it to load in. I open the shop to, where you can see skins that are like $25, and it just loads in automatically. So there's a bit of a problem there. And first off, I also just want to say, like, $25 skins, like, can we unnormalize that? Why is that so normalized? Get these $25 plus skins out of here. Out of games in general. Just in general. All games. $25 for a skin? Like, oh my, I don't even want to get into that right now, but moving on. Another issue that I just have found with this game is, well, there's been technical issues a lot. Like, sometimes just the graphics will just, no matter what settings I have it on, like I've had it on the highest possible settings, but for some reason the graphics just won't load in sometimes, or they'll take a bit extra longer to load in, so they'll look like just, I don't know, mashed potatoes. I always use the word mashed potatoes, but it's just like, it's when you can't really, it's just like a blurry, it really hasn't, like, you can see the textures there, but it's just really blurry or pixelated for some reason, and it just doesn't load in and instantly, or just, I'm keep saying instantly, but it just doesn't load in properly. And so, like, you got these terrible textures on the screen even when you're on high settings, and it just, eventually they'll load in, but they're not there all the time, which is kind of an issue. The second thing, again, some of these are minor. I guess that's the thing with this game. Most of these are minor things that can be fixed, but it's just all these minor things stack up to create this, like, not as good experience as the game could be. But another thing that I found was weird, and again, this is another very, very minor thing, but it is something that happens. It's subtitles. Subtitles don't work properly, or at least when you turn them on or off. Like, I turned them off. I have subtitles off, but the subtitles still kept popping up on my screen, and I don't want the subtitles on my screen. First off, they take a lot of space on the screen. I don't like unnecessary things on my screen. And subtitles, I just feel like subtitles in this game are kind of unnecessary. And so I turned them off, and they didn't get turned off. I even restarted the game and then went back into the game with it turned off, and it still didn't have the subtitles turned off. So that's a thing. Another thing to do with that, I guess, the voices and stuff, is it's kind of weird. Something's out of sync, because they have lip movement in this game, and all the characters are voiced, but the lips don't match the voice. They're not synced up to the voice. So sometimes someone will be talking, but their lips will start moving before the person talks, and then end, and the person will still be talking, but their lips will stop moving, which is kind of weird. And it's also, I mean, it's a $40 game. It's almost a full-priced AAA title. I know a lot of games now are pushing $70, which I feel like is okay. We'll talk about that some other time, but it's almost a full-priced game, and there's just minor issues like these, and there's like a ton of them that all stack up, which kind of create a bad experience in this game. On top of that, the game, in my opinion, it doesn't really run that well, to be honest here. Like, the game does look good, in my opinion, on the highest settings, for the most part. I really like the fire effects in this game for some reason. But the game really doesn't run that well. Like, at least compared to, like, Vermintide 2 is what I'm going to compare this game to a lot, since it's made by the same people and is kind of similar concept. But Vermintide 2 is way better than this game. It runs way better than this game. This game, on the highest settings with ray tracing off, because definitely not going to turn that on. Not in this game. Ray tracing off. DLSS was even on, and I was getting around 80 frames per second, and with a RTX 3060 Ti and a Intel i9 9900K. I may have messed up something in there, I'm not sure, but yeah, usually without ray tracing on, especially with DLSS on, games run pretty well, I would say, with that combination. But this game, not only does it seem like a lower frame rate, but it also stutters a lot. This game has a stutter problem, for sure. When you load in, there's a lot of stutters, and I can forgive some stutters when you load directly in. You know, you just loaded in and you joined the game a little late, and there's a few stutters. You know, as you're like just starting the first 10 seconds or something, you just joined that match. Maybe I can forgive that, maybe a little bit, but just throughout the whole match, there was just stutters, just random stutters, and they're not like small stutters, they're just big stutters where like the whole screen would freeze for like a second or two, and that is just not good. Another thing is the levels. There's like I don't know. I didn't play a whole lot of missions. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't play this game for that long. Only like maybe 2 hours at most. After the after the prologue. The prologue, I don't even know how long that was, but after that, I played like an hour or two, and all the levels just felt and looked exactly the same. Like, there's almost no difference. I couldn't tell if I was just like in a different location on the same map, or it was a completely different map. And that is just not good, to be honest. And usually I can tell very clearly differences in levels, even if they look somewhat similar, but these levels, just like, they're all the same. They all feel the same. They all look the same, they all feel the same. They're just basically all the same. I don't even know how many different maps or, you know, like levels there are when you're doing these missions, but it seems like there's like one, because they all look and feel the same. So honestly, I'm gonna just sum up this game for me personally, because I'm probably, or at least, you know, for a little bit, I'll probably come back to this game eventually, but for right now, I'm probably not going to be playing this game again. I'm probably going to uninstall it after this video and maybe check on it some other time. I'm glad I didn't actually buy this game completely. It just happened to be on Game Pass before I ended up buying the game, because I was actually going to buy the game, but luckily it ended up on Game Pass, so that, I guess that saved me $40, but yeah, this game just makes me want to play Vermintide 2 instead, or like Space Hulk Deathwing, that game. One of those two games instead of this game. But the main problems with this game, for me personally, and from what I see other people say, I really want to. One of my friends, though, he's like a huge Warhammer fan, and I really want to see his reaction. I haven't seen his reaction. I want to see his reaction to this game, so that'll be interesting. But my biggest problems with this game is the technical issues, the loading times. Like, the loading times are just really putting me off this game. Like, it takes so long to even get into the game to be able to play it. And then when you're in it, there's stutter problems, there's texture loading problems, there's just settings in the menus that just don't work. You turn them on or off and they just don't do anything, they don't make a difference. Another thing, this is, I guess, personal opinion here, but I didn't really find the characters, or the weapons, I should say, the weapons, that fun to use, to be honest. I don't feel like it's as fun as Vermintide 2. For some reason, Vermintide 2 just, it was more fun to me just killing waves of enemies than this game. And so not only all those problems, I just didn't find using the weapons that fun. So I was trying to switch to different characters, but then the other problems, like the loading times, just crazy. This game also has crashing problems, or so I've been seeing. I actually haven't experienced a crash for myself in this game, but I guess if I played longer I might experience that. So I can't say anything about crashes, though other people have been saying stuff about crashes. I personally didn't crash, but I did have, you know, the loading screen, other problems. But on top of all that, the game just kind of feels a bit boring to me. It just feels a bit boring, and the levels and everything, they're kind of generic. And I guess we'll see where this game ends up after some time. Like after a year, we'll see where this game is. As of right now, it's not really that great of a game, in my opinion. Anyways, that is going to be it for this video, because I'm done talking about this game, and I really don't have much else to say about this game. One thing, though, this is not to do with this game, but just for future, I want to, because I've done the Dead Rising videos previously. I've done Dead Rising, Dead Rising 2, Dead Rising 3. I was going to do off the record, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do off the record now, but I'm definitely going to be doing Dead Rising 4, hopefully before the end of the year, and that will complete my whole playlist basically on the Dead Rising games. I might do off the record because I really like that game, but Dead Rising 4 is going to be first, and I'm not looking forward to it because it's probably the worst Dead Rising game out of them all. But I also haven't played it in like 4 or 5, like 6 years. I played it last in like 2016 when it released. I think it released in 2016, 2017, I don't know. I haven't played it in forever, at least 5 years, so that's going to be something. I don't even know what else to say other than that's going to be something. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you guys think about this video and Warhammer 40k Darktide. Let me know what you guys think about the game. I mean, if you bought the game, I hope you're enjoying the game at least. Getting some fun out of it at least. Because it's not all bad, but it's just Vermintide 2 is just better. That's really what it is. But anyways, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure to hit that subscribe button because you want to be subscribed. And I'll see you guys next time.